Excuse me, it feels cold, right? It feels cold. Excuse me. Excuse me, it feels cold. It feels cold. It's cold. The temperature. Yes? Yeah, it feels so cold. I don't know why people don't want to be honest. It's so cold in there. Excuse me. Sir, miss. It feels cold. That's why people are wearing gloves. I feel cold. But nobody wants to be honest. They're going to get people to die of pneumonia. So this MTA CEO, Jana Lieber, said he has games to get rid of all the homeless. Hello? 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 Can I ask you a question? Nobody wants to talk, you know, and that's the pain. You know, nobody wants to talk. The MTA CEO said he wants to get rid of the homeless, and he said he has a lot of tricks, and he's trying to freeze the poor people to death. This is a violation of civil rights. They said in the past, the white slave owners have been able to abuse slaves and get away with it. And this guy, Jana Lieber, he did an interview with the New York Post that he's trying to get rid of the homeless, and he's freezing people any station I'm in. So they know I ride this out train. They freeze me on this out train. Then when I try to ride the number 2 train, there are black Americans attacking me on number 2 train. I'm from Nigeria, so there's black Americans that also have a gang. So they're going to be attacking people that sold their ancestors into slavery. So it's a real mess here in New York. Different rebels, different gang faction. And me as a Nigerian, I'm just on my own. So I try to implore people to please call 311. You can also go to an MTA website to make a complaint. MTA.info/subway. But the most important thing you can do, please donate to my Cash App. My Cash App is NYC Homeless. I'm trying to take this man to court. You know, 13 people are frozen to death. Are frozen dead, homeless, you know, due to the low temperature. You know, and it's very easy to end up with pneumonia. I'm also feeling very feverish. A lot of people are coughing, sneezing around me. So whatever illness they have, they're passing it on to me. You know, so please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. Befriend me on Instagram, befriend me on YouTube, befriend me on Facebook. You can watch my videos on YouTube by Google searching my real name. My real name is in my Cash App, NYC Homeless. So please, like the saying goes, what goes around comes around. Please, the issue of tyranny in this country has to be addressed. You know, from the Trump administration to every local tyrant. You know, the head of the MTA, his name is Jana Lieber. He said he's going to be playing on tricks to make sure all the homeless are permanently, you know, removed, you know, and they use false arrest, use the police to arrest me in the bathroom, lie on me, and they lower the temperature on the train. So this is a human rights violation, and nobody should be able to break laws and endanger life and not be held accountable. So this man, Danny, you promise all kinds of stuff, and I contact you all the time, and you don't respond. And that's a violation of my civil rights. And under Section 1986, it said any public official that conspires to violate people's civil rights, claim you care about Gaza or you with them. You speak about Netanyahu, or you don't speak about, you know, the employees of New York City subway, freezing people. I used to have a thermometer, it got too cold, the thermometer stopped working. That's how cold it is. It's by $1 thermometer. Yeah, this is the R train. And people don't want to tell the truth. But you see them with their gloves. You know, I've been freezing also I'm having feverish condition. And also due to my poverty, they steal all my clean clothing, steal all my stuff. As soon as I go get more stuff, they steal it again. They want to leave me in perpetual poverty, and the most important, they want to damage my health. And for almost 10 years now, they leave the bathroom in solid condition. That was how they started. They were dirtying up the bathrooms. They told the janitor not to wash it. They put the toilets on flush for many years. There were flies. I was calling 311, reporting. And soon they got the police to arrest me to steal my green card. Because I recorded so many evidence to steal all my phones. So this is a horror. And I can't get no justice. They arrested me in Brooklyn, stole my green card. After my mother's divorce also got my mother killed. My mother said they were affiliated with a narcotic gang that kills people for money. My daughters are born in America, my mother from Nigeria. And this is a case of people using their US passports to abuse immigrants like me and my mother and get away with it. My mother hasn't got injustice. The daughters born in Florida, my mother said they're affiliated with a narcotic gang, and my mother told me, she's afraid about to kill her. Said, one of the daughter, Flora, would drive my mother in the backseat of the car and go and hit somebody's house. In Pittsburgh, my mother said she did it intentionally just to scare my mother to death. And the owner of the house they hit, called the police and the ambulance came and everything. And also my mother said that Flora also has a husband that is in the US military, Ayinde Cheney. I said, he also tried to kill my mother. And when the police was called, it's my mother they would throw out of the house. So he hit my mother with a dirty plunger. Back up the toilet. But my mother complains, he hit my mother with a dirty plunger to her face. And my mother had to, the police had to tell my mother, as my mother talks with an Nigerian accent. So she was never able to get justice in Pennsylvania. So then she moved to the police and told her to leave that Flora's house with her husband. So my mother went to the daughter's house, Bolale. And that one to my mother, was trying to kill my mother. So we would leave snow on the floor for days. Even though my mother had a heart condition, she was trying to get my mother to trip on the snow so that she can be hospitalized. That one wanted to kill my mother also. Yeah, and also said that one said she's tired of my mother staying in Israel. She wants to stay alone. She has her own house, not Bolale. And ended up poisoning my mother. My mother started putting poison in my mother's food. Cancer, fish poison was triggering my mother to have heart attack symptoms. So my mother fled Pittsburgh to come to New York. But she didn't want to go to the hospital in Pittsburgh because she knew that Bolale would come to the hospital and tell the hospital to lock my mother up. My mother was misdiagnosed with mental disease. As an immigrant, it's very easy to get misdiagnosed. And this is how she was misdiagnosed with mental disease. She brought me here from Nigeria in 2000. I was arrested by immigration. So my mother got tired of taking care of me. And her daughter, she was appealing to her daughters to help her with money and they wouldn't help her. And it was the daughters that set me up, especially at Bolale. Because my mother had like $100,000 in a US bank account while she was in Nigeria in the 1990s. Because she used to live here in America in the 70s. And her house had lead poisoning in Brooklyn. So she sued the landlord and got $100,000. So our daughters here in America in the 1990s forged my mother's signature and removed the $100,000. My mother told them to remove some of the money and use it to process green card for me and my mother. So that Bolale presented like she has filed for green card for me and my mother. But she didn't file for me, she only filed for my mother. So when I got to JFK, the immigration arrested me. Even though they're not supposed to arrest me in the job, there's a special visa that I'm just giving me called humanitarian parole visa, and that's for children of foreigners. But I decided to give me that visa at the airport. I said that, but I didn't find a green card for me. So I was arrested. So my case lasted 8 years in court, and I was bailed out of immigration prison. So while I was staying home with my mother, going back to court, immigration court So my mother and her daughters conspired to be calling the police on me on Staten Island. The daughters live in Pennsylvania, but they were telling my mother to be calling the police on me on Staten Island and be lying that I'm just crazy and that's why I don't go to work or school. Even though I don't go to work or school because I don't have immigration papers. And my mother didn't have any money to pay for my schooling because she was just making like $6 an hour as a home thing. So she would call the police on me and they would take me to the nearby hospital called St. Vincent. And it's they're holding up the treadmills and they need to use the bathroom. They delayed to try to get me to have an accident. If they can frame you up as crazy, they can just get the police to kill you or lock you up and have you. I think that's what they want to do. They want to kill me or lock me up and have my mother's killer daughters inherit my property or take over my financial affairs and bribe this MTA. So the narcotic gang the daughters are part of are also working with this MTA. They always try to arrest me, soil my pants. If I'm on my way to the bathroom, they delay me. So back to what I was saying. After I got here from Nigeria and I was arrested at JFK because they said that I didn't file a agreement for me, lied to my mother. So I was trafficked here under false pretext. And that's very serious, especially when you try to separate a mother and a child. File a green card for a mother that doesn't cover the child. I was a minor child. When I got here, I was still a teenager. And that's international law against separating a mother and child. When my mother told her brother to file for her, I was still in high school, 13, 12 years old. So that brother could even file adoption papers because she had a U.S. passport, or she could just file a green card for me as a U.S. citizen. And she pretended that she has already filed it, and she didn't file. So when my mother brought me here after I finished high school, as a teenager, I was arrested at JFK. And while the case was going on, that apparently while the college degree at the house, that Flora, had the college degree, had I believe she has at the house, but they wouldn't help my mother with money for my immigration case. Even though they had stolen $100,000 from my mother's bank account. So my mother, got frustrated. So she started to listen to her daughters. Her daughters told my mother to set me up and just call the police, call them, lied that I was crazy. That's why I was always home. I didn't go to work or school. Even though I had an immigration case, I didn't have work papers. So my mother would always call the police on me to frame up as crazy. So the police was able to the nearby hospital called St. Vincent Hospital. So there was an Indian or Sri Lankan lady, she was the psychiatrist. So I would explain to the doctor that my mother and the daughters are the one conspiring to just get rid of me because I have an immigration case. It's not like I'm crazy. I have an immigration case. I don't have any papers. That's why I stay home and my mother doesn't have enough money to pay for my schooling. So the Indian psychiatrist told my mother the next time she lies on me, they're going to lock her up in prison or a psych hospital or something. So my mother stopped calling the police on me. But one day she fell sick, so I called the police to take her to the ambulance time to take her to the hospital. And when we got there, the Indian psychiatrist saw her. I decided to frame her up as crazy. My mother had high blood pressure. Her body was feeling paralyzed. So the Indian psychiatrist had to go and lock my mother up in the mental ward. So my mother called her daughters that karma as family. God had her, and she's not the one in the psych ward. So one of the daughters refused to show up early. I guess she was afraid we were going to lock her up or something. But one showed up, Flora, I decided to play along. My mother was really crazy. So they released my mother to that Flora's custody. And that Flora took my mother to Georgia, where she's married to a U.S. citizen. Savannah. And then she was telling my mother to apply for military benefits and apply. And she's a U.S. citizen and she's a military person. Even though George Bush was president in 2001, he was trying to deport him there. So my mother fled back to New York, And also before that incident, I was also misdiagnosed as crazy. So I had cross-eye because I used to screen like an immigrant in Nigeria. that has mercury in it. One of it was called mercury. A lot of these products were being imported from England. You know, so that friend was encouraging me to go and see a psychiatrist because my eye was getting crossed. He said, that's a sign of mental illness. I was like, I don't think it's a sign of mental illness. So I went to a psychiatrist and told the psychiatrist that my eyes getting crossed because I was using a cream in Nigeria that has mercury in it, and I believe that's the reason why my eye is getting crossed on and off. So that psychiatrist told me she doesn't believe that the skin cream can be making my eye cross. So it's like, maybe I'm just thinking the skin cream is making my eye cross. So she tried to misdiagnose me as delusional. And I told her to refer me to ophthalmologist, a new ophthalmologist, and she said no. That psychiatrist, which was like a Russian lady, she spoke with an Eastern European accent, but she did speak English. I don't know why. She was just so negligent and decided to misdiagnose me as delusional. So at that time, I told my mother found out, so she told her daughters. So I think her daughters told her to. This was before my mother was also misdiagnosed. I always told her to tell the landlord to kick me out. So I'm crazy. But so my mother went and told the landlord to kick me out, but the landlord kicked me and my mother out. So me and my mother was staying in a hotel. Then my mother tripped me to come to Pennsylvania with her. She told me we were just going for one day. And when I got there, she bought a return ticket at Manhattan Greyhound Station. So I thought we were just going there for one day. We're going to come back together. When I got to Pennsylvania, half Flora put my mother back in the car. I was going to drive my mother to the Greyhound Station alone, so my mother can return to New York alone. So I got into the car without Flora and my mother. My mother has my bus ticket. I don't want to stop in Pennsylvania. And that's why I tried to get out. So I was trying to get out, and while I was trying to get out, she drove the car, and I fell off the car, and she hit me in the car. It was a red car at 636 Industry Street, Pittsburgh, PA, 15217. And people were around watching what was happening, and that Poland lane, I was being set up in a rage bait. So that Flora hit me with the car, I don't remember the way. And there goes my bus ticket to come back to New York. I had an immigration case to return to. So I was now stuck in Pennsylvania, and my mother's other daughter was there also, called 911. And like I had a weapon, I was attacking her. And so the police came, and I was explaining to them I was kidnapped here from New York. I have an immigration case. My mother said, and her daughter set me up. I said, I have an immigration case. And the police put in them, and they took me to the psych ward at Mercy Hospital. And there I explained to them, but that bloody lied, I don't have an immigration case. That was just crazy. Because if I'm going to use my misdiagnosis to have me miss my immigration case and lock me up. So I finally called my lawyer, immigration lawyer in New York, who spoke at Mercy Hospital in downtown Pittsburgh, near Liberty Avenue. I told them I did have an immigration case. So that was when the hospital apologized to me and said they did that. So they politely lied to the hospital that I didn't have an immigration case. I was just crazy. And then the hospital released me in that 2001. But never arrested that politely on my mother or the other daughter in 2001. And 14 years later, that politely poisoned my mother, and my mother fled to come to New York, to come back to New York, to go to the hospital bed. And that politely came to the hospital, told the hospital my mother is crazy. Because of the misdiagnosis my mother had 11 years old. And that politely knew my mother was crazy. She was just misdiagnosed. But she was the one telling my mother to calling that hospital on Staten Island. Say I didn't have immigration, saying that I was crazy because I didn't go to work. But I told the psychiatrist there in that hospital, I don't go to work because I don't have papers, and my mother and the police don't help me with money. She's willing. That psychiatrist tried to lock my mother up. So I said, yes, I can. That politely used that fake misdiagnosis of my mother 14 years later. So came to New York, poisoned my mother, and as soon as my mother went to the hospital to treat her heart problem, she was getting poisoned. That Bolali came to New York and told us to lock her up. It's crazy. So that confused the baby hospital and they locked my mother. My mother died. They said they always stab people in the injection called kitten. My mother died with like a pain. And they stabbed her.
This is the last stop on this train. Everyone,
you know, that's why they killed my mother. So now that the MTA sees it's so easy to kill a Nigerian, they also started a program to be calling all homeless crazy. And they've already went and locked me up in the psych ward. And they also are trying to kill me like my mother's daughters killed my mother. So they're killing Nigerians in America, freezing the train. FIFA is not safe. They've stolen my green card as another African who used to be on the subway. He said they stole his green card also and his passport. You know, so that they're killing us Africans in the subway, you know, in New York City. And the new mayor is an Indian born in Africa. It's not helping. He only talks about, you know, the Israelis are killing his fellow Muslim, Arab Muslim, like him, you know. And it's not addressing my issue. I mean, while he was still an assemblyman here in Queens, I was sending him messages on Instagram that look, there's a black African that's going to the bathroom upstairs. They told me they're going to get the police to arrest me and drag me out. I see that the police had arrested me in the bathroom in Chambers Street. They lied on me that I stole something from a black African. They stole nothing. And they didn't find nothing. And they said they were going to lock up in the psych ward, in the mental ward. So since my mother's daughters was able to kill my mother by locking her up in the mental ward, and they see my mother can't get justice for the past 10 years, I reached out to the Nigerian embassy, I reached out to lawyers, to the prosecutors, nobody would help my mother. So the MTA is trying to do the same thing. You know, so they always try to lock her up in the psych ward. So please, this is a genocide, and under this Trump administration, they are locking up immigrants, also deporting us. You know, even to contact the Brooklyn district attorney, that even a black American that was helping me with my court papers, you know, I filed in Brooklyn for the police, against the police that took my home on Staten Island, because the Brooklyn federal court is the one that administers cases on Staten Island. I said, you know, already, bathroom and so I always try to call the police on because they don't want me to use the bathroom here because I always use the internet outside, you know, so to beg for money. So they're trying to kill me eventually, you know, but they're afraid if I keep using the bathroom in the train station, when they kill me and call me crazy and kill me, you know, people that use the same bathroom with me can go and sue also, and sue the MTA. They said, and claim, yeah, that person was crazy and used to attack us in the bathroom. And since you killed this person, say the person is crazy, yeah, you got to pay us money. You know, so that's why they don't want me to use the bathroom here in the train station, because they're afraid that when they eventually kill me, they either conspire with anybody that eventually gives me money. I beg for money online from strangers, you know, and I think, you know, I always use the internet outside, and they're just waiting for some, you know, I think they're trying to conspire with anybody that will give me money to either hire an assassin to kill me, and then they can just, because I don't have anybody left that fight for me. My father is there, my mother is there. They say the inheritance scam is very rampant here in New York City, and once they kill you, they can just go and lie against you. Say, you know, while you were alive, you donated your money to, you know, to an organization, to the gang, and kill you and take the money back. So, you know, so this is what they hope to do. Like, even if anybody gives me money, they'll just have the person hire an assassin to kill me later. You know, and then the person will get their money back after killing me by lying that, you know, they were involved in some friendship with me, you know, and not that I, you know, if I die, I told them to inherit everything. So they said they always create confusion here and steal money from dead people. This is called inheritance scam. So they, you know, I think this is what I'm anticipating, because I always beg for money online. So they don't want me to use the bathroom here, because they think eventually if I'm killed, people can then sue. Yeah, remember that person who used the bathroom inside the train station and used to abuse us, and that person was crazy and whatever lies people are going to tell. Because they've already locked him up in the psych ward and misdiagnosed was crazy. So please donate to my Cash App, NYC Almost Unconditional Charitable Donation, or to me person, or student loan. I'm trying to use the bathroom now. I hope the water is running.